particular time, for a very long time, my dad came back home. So when I imagine, we were not used to being in a home whereby we have a father figure. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for consuming my content and coming back. I really appreciate that. And in case you're new here, my name is Hilda and this channel is all about inspiration, mental health care, self-care, which is a part of mental health care. And along the way, I'll introduce my siblings and share what we do when we get a chance to be together. Now, I'll start by saying a big thank you to all of you who've consumed my content and given me feedback. Honestly, I'm so happy so far. And I've gotten a number of people who've texted me and told me that I remind them of where they've come from, the struggles they saw with their parents or parent, and the fact that they were brought up from a similar family or a similar upbringing that I shared and all that. And honestly, I'm happy. And as I mentioned earlier, my purpose is to just touch a soul out there and appreciate them for what they are doing and the good job that they are doing to their kids, kama ni familia, and to give hope to the young generation out there who are going probably a similar thing that I went through. Again, I've received a number of messages from people, some of them being questions, and a major concern that has come up is whether my family has watched this, and another concern that came up is whether my father is there. And yes, I would respond to this and say yes, my family have watched this, and yes, my father is there. So, as I shared earlier, and as I said earlier, this is something that I sat down and thought about for not even 1 year. And if you'd go back to my channel, I think I opened up an account in 2013, but I've been struggling to do this, to be clear on what I wanted. I've tried to beat around the bush, but I'm getting sleepless nights about this and all that, and I was like, maybe this communicates something to me. Maybe this is a sign of something. And I was like, I have to do this. So before I took a camera, sat down and started doing this is something that I have put into consideration. I've thought about, I've had sleepless nights about it, but finally, I think 2021 was that year whereby I just got courage to sit down and share this. It wasn't easy. And yeah, in short, what I say, I sat down and thought about it and all that. The other thing, those who are asking about my father, whether he's here and all that, yes, he's here. And I would say, again, this is something to inspire people out there. Now, if you follow up my journey, you'll come to know whether, you'll come to learn that. And I mentioned earlier that it took a lot of work to be where I am today. It took a lot of work to yani ikafikia I can sit down in front of a camera and share this without breaking down. I've not completely healed, but trust me, I'm better. Today I can comfortably pick my phone and call him. Today I can comfortably visit him. Today I can comfortably pick his call and we talk and all that. So yes, it has been a long journey, a long journey that had a lot of work to get to this point. So yeah, nimeka yani, in short, what I would say, I've considered this, and I know they're out there, I know they're watching and all that. So yes, and today I'm here to take you back to where we left at being raised by my mom with an absent father, part 3. Now I left it at where I said my mom got her that job. And if you've not watched part 1, 2 and 3, I think you'd understand what I'm sharing today much better if you watch the previous. I think you'd understand this story better if you watch a part 1, part 2 and part 3 of this. So after my mom got that job, my sibling and I, mwenye amenifuata because I'm the firstborn, tumefuatana na tumeachana na mwaka moja, which means both of us went to high school. That is where I left it. So after high school, not after high school, at high school, one thing that I mentioned is life was never easy at school. And at some point I said that I hated high school for so many reasons. Now, one of the reasons that made me hate high school is because at that period whereby nimemaliza class 8, I've joined form 1, and then life has changed. I was in a primary school. Sasa I've been enrolled to a high school that was far from home. A lot and a number of things had changed. One of it being my mom got ill, and I was not aware of this until we broke for midterm. So nilifika nyumbani, and if I can remember, there was a visitor who had come at home, and my mom was lying on the sofa, and they were discussing on how she was hospitalized and got discharged. I think tukifika nyumbani for that midterm, she was discharged like yesterday. So nikiwa kwa shughuli zangu, I had them mention, rather I had my mom mention that she was newly diagnosed diabetes, and she's just from hospital. So I remember I heard them say life will change, and yes, it changed with a number of things, one of it being how we used to feed. And I remember the same day that I heard that from them, nilitumwa mafuta ya kupika, ya salad, ya maji, the liquid one. And yeah, because we were used to use the other one, the solid one, the yellow one, ya kupika. But all of a sudden, life is changing. A new diagnosis is here. I didn't understand much about diabetes until later, where I came to understand that when you're newly diagnosed diabetes, it comes with a lot of changes in life, because one, you have to change in some of the things that you were used to, like in terms of feeding, you have to change from what you were feeding to what you're supposed to feed when you are diabetic. Secondly, if it comes to something like lifestyle, you have to change to a certain lifestyle. If maybe you are taking alcohol, or maybe you were not caring much about how much you weigh and all that, it was a wake-up call for things to change. A new lifestyle is here and all that. So with I mentioning that, so definitely life had to change at home. And yes, I was sent to our shopping center to buy that salad, hiyo mafuta ya kupima, na sidhani nilikuwa nimetumwa mingi. And I can remember, I think haikuwa imeni hit nikiwa kwa nyumba when I heard them talk about a new diagnosis is here. I think ilini hit nikitembea kwa barabara, and I was like, God, not again. We've suffered enough. I've seen my mom go through a lot. I've seen her in her worst. I've seen her break down, but I never saw her giving up. Now, this again, another challenge at home is here. She's been announced diabetic. It means we have to change the lifestyle that we used to live. It means we have to change a number of things. And I was like, apana, we are not ready for this. And what came through my mind when I had diabetic, I was like, maybe the worst is about to happen. Maybe we are about to lose our mom. I was like, no, how will we handle ourselves? The only person that we have who cares so much about us and who is there for us is our mom. But right now, a chronic condition is here to stay, because skari haishangi unless you are told by your doctor to maybe withdraw from taking your medication, maybe, and ukae kwa diet and be disciplined about all that. And but I didn't have the knowledge that this is a treatment that is here to stay, but manageable through taking medication and feeding well. I didn't know all that at that time. So what that made me think, what came through my mind at that particular time, is that maybe my mom won't be there for long. Probably she'll suffer for what is here now. And then, okay, I don't even know how to explain it, but the age I was in, singeelewa that you can still live as much as you've been announced diabetic. So midterm ended and I had to go back to school, but my stay in that school for those 4 years was never easy, because every time I saw someone at the entrance of the gate, I was like, probably something wrong happened to my mom. Maybe nimekujua niende nyumbani because something bad has happened. You can imagine how my life was at high school. Each and every time nikiona mtu amekuja, and probably I'm called from class by a teacher that a relative is here to see me, I was like, no, I hope my mom is okay, and all that. Again, because I wouldn't get a chance to go home each and every time I was in that school, away from home, away from my mom, every day I felt like I wanted to go home. I wanted to know how my mom was. I wanted to know how she's faring. And then the worst thing, I don't remember any teacher mwenye angekupatia maybe a phone to call home and know how things are at home and all that. So una imagine you had to wait either umefukuzwa school fees, or muna break for midterm, or you're closing school. That is when you'd go back home, meet with my mom and all that. So for me, I kept looking forward to being at home. I kept looking forward to going home. Now, one thing I would tell you, so many times I had a very bad eyesight, still do since high school. So a couple and so many times I asked for permission to go get reviewed by a doctor. Me, sometimes I would fake a toothache just to go home and see my mom. So the change that came with that diagnosis changed everything. As much as I wanted to work hard, as much as I wanted to make her proud, it was not easy, because each and every time I felt like probably something wrong happened to her. Probably I'll find that things got messed up at home and all that. So that was reason number one as to why I hated high school. Reason number two, at that particular time, for a very long time, my dad came back home. So when I imagine, we were not used to being in a home whereby we have a father figure, we have a home whereby we experienced our first love as girls and daughters from their father. We never experienced all that. So at the same time, I being in school and my other sibling, so the only person who was left at home was my mom and my younger sister. So every time I was in school, I was like, he's back. How are things at home? Is my mom safe? Hata kama si physically, I never saw anything physical at home, but emotional, I experienced that a lot from her. So I was like, is she okay? Is she mentally stable? Is she emotionally stable? Yani, my fears were there day in, day out again. My mom is sick. She has to undergo through treatment, and then here he is. He's back. He's back at home. And I remember the number of times that I left for midterm and went back home. Things were weird, really weird, because we were not used again to this male figure that is at home, or we were not used to the father figure at home. And he's back. You don't have a bond, you don't have a relationship, and all of a sudden he wants things to be done in a certain way. Yani, in short, things were not easy. Things were not easy because he took some time to be home. He took a very long time to be back home, and then all of a sudden he've come. You don't have any connection, you don't have any bond as father-daughter, you don't have that relationship, but he's back. And of course, as a parent, there are some things that he'll delegate, he'll need some things to be done and all that. So again, it wasn't easy. So this illness that came, plus my dad coming back home, made my life in school terrible, because every other time I used to think on the well-being of my mom and whether she's safe and all that. So that is why I said my life in high school was not okay. I hated high school. Now, if my mom can remember, because I know she'll be watching this, I begged or I sat her down a number of times and begged her to take me to a certain day school that was around our area, yani nikaribie nyumbani. But she was like, no, I want you in school. I want you to be in an environment that will concentrate better. I want you to be there with other girls and get that education. But she didn't know why I kept pushing her to take me to day school. It's because I wanted to be near her as a firstborn. It's because I wanted to be near home to see how things are and all that. At least nimpeange moyo na mwambia, let's keep pushing on. Things will get better with time and all that. So that is why I really wanted to go to a day school. Na mimi siwadanganyi, I hated high school from the day I set my foot in that gate to Form 4, because I was feeling, apana, I'm not supposed to be here. And again, as a firstborn, as I mentioned earlier, you pick things that are happening from home easily. na ukiwa bado mdogo, so I knew what was happening back at home and all that. And so I didn't like my life at high school at all. Yeah. So what I would want to tell the young generation out there what I would want to tell the young generation out there who are from the same home that I was raised from. I know, and probably things are not easy right now because of what is happening back at home, and I'm sure this doesn't only affect firstborns, but also the other siblings. So what I would want to tell the young generation who are going a similar thing out there is to keep on hanging there, because as I mentioned in my last video, your parents are doing the best to put you where you are at the moment. And the other thing that I came to learn is that most of the time, if we are given a chance to choose different, all of us would do that. We would choose different. Probably I would choose a different home with the same mother, but a more friendly and whereby I'm raised with both parents and I get love from both parents and all that. If we were given a chance to do that, all of us would change one thing or the other of the homes that we come from. But one thing that I came to learn as I was growing, that is the home that I was born in. Those are my parents, and I cannot change that fact. I cannot change the fact that they are my parents. They brought me to this world, and things are like that at home. And one thing that I would want to tell you, wewe mwenye uko huko nje and you're watching this video, and you're almost giving up, probably you're ashamed of where you've come from and all that, one thing I would want to encourage you and to remind you of, you have your own life to build. You have your own life to build. Today, if I check back, probably if I concentrated in school, I was reassured by my mom. She'll do anything to see us through school. She will ensure that we complete school and go to college and all that. But ilikuwa inafikia point na shindwa, okay, right now we are in high school, we are really struggling, utaweza aje college? That was my question each and every time. But today nasemanga, if maybe I concentrated and nimwache as a parent to do what she was doing, because she gave me the best according to where she was and what she was doing at that particular moment. Probably I would have gotten better grades than I got. Probably I wouldn't have gone through some of the things that I went through, like low self-esteem, maybe feeling like I'm not good enough, being very antisocial and all that. So if you're watching this and you feel like giving up because of where you come from, just trust in God and pray, because again, it takes grace to even concentrate, to even push on with life. Ukikumbuka what is happening and what is going on back at home, it takes a lot of grace. Because one thing that I mentioned, through my career, I've interacted with so many firstborns and so many young generations out there. And I've come a number of people who are going through this same thing. And you will find a number of them have really given up. Some of them feel like they were born from wrong homes. Some of them feel like they will just pack and go and leave that home and disappear to a place whereby they are not known and all that. So I would want to tell you people to hang in there, trust in God that things will get better with time. Remember, the clock is still ticking. If someone 10 years ago told me today I would be here, singekubaliana. Because what I'm sharing right now, what I've been sharing previously, is just a quarter of what we went through. So, trusting in God made us get here. Having hope that tomorrow will be better made us get to this point. Us not giving up made us see today and we are here right now. Okay? Do not give up. Do not give up. And I've seen so many firstborns who give up along the way. Naona maybe the best thing I would do is to go get married for things to get easy. I've gotten that from so many young people that they've gone through a lot to an extent they feel like probably getting married to get away from this home is the best thing. But remember, you're still a kid, you're not stable. Hata ukaenda huko nje na uolewe, things won't be easy because you just got married. Plus, again, remember, as I mentioned earlier, we firstborns, we are a mirror or an example and deputy parents to our siblings. So, imagine if maybe I chose to leave my family and probably settle down at an early age because of what is happening at home, maybe my siblings when you are wamenifuata would be like, no, see, Hilda right now is away from this home that is toxic and all that. Let us do the same thing. So, I think the only thing you would give to your parents is making it and making them proud. Because when I imagine after all the struggle my mom went through, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't want school, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be here, let me go find life out there, a much better, a more better life than what I'm getting at home. I would have broken her heart. And I won't say those who've gotten married at an early age did the wrong thing. Again, we are blessed differently. But what I'm saying is, if you feel like settling down because of what is happening at the environment that you're in right now, that is not a solution. Things will even get harder. Things will not be easy, and at the same time, hautakuwa hata umesaidia nyumbani. But at least if you hang in there and wazazi wafanye what they are supposed to do, because again, that is their responsibility to take care of you, to provide that school fees and to bring you up and to see that you're doing better. Na wewe ufanye part yako as a kid. Kama ni kusoma usome, kama ni kutii utii, and then Mungu afanye kazi yake. Because honestly, our parents do their part. We do our parts, or our part as the kids, and then Mungu anafanya kazi yake. Because I mentioned earlier, God comes at the right time. And this right time may take 10 years. 10 years. This right time may take 20 years. This right time may take 5 years from where you are right now. It took a number of years for us to get where we are today. We went through so many pains. We got laughed at by so many people out there. We got mocked by so many people out there. May I remember some of even our relatives never believed in us, and they were like, my mother is just putting up a lot of effort, but we will end up being house helps. We've gotten that from people, but she fought. She looked forward to seeing that we are in a better place, and she gave us that education and all that. So we have our own time, and I mentioned that, but we have God's time. So trust in Him and be patient as a parent, be patient as that kid until his time is here. And when his time is right, and when his time is here, He will eventually make things beautiful. And what God can do, no man can do. Because if maybe it was for people to get us to where we are, probably a number of them would have given up, a number of them would have washed their hands and say, wow, we've helped this family for a very long time, but sasa wacha tunawe mikono. But through God's grace, He touched and He brought the right people that we needed to be where we are today. So don't give up. That is the message today. Don't give up. Hang in there. Sawa sawa. And I hope again this gets to the right ear. I hope this gets to someone who've given up and they are like, was I born to suffer? Was I born to pay the bills? Was I born to cry and all that? But remember that it's not yet His time. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and kindly don't forget to like, share, and leave a positive comment. And if you're out there and going through a difficult time and you feel like you've given up and maybe you need an ear to listen to you, someone to encourage you, I will leave my email below. You can just text, and I reach out to you. So thank you very much for watching, and have a blessed night. Until next time, bye bye.